So in this video, we're going to do a client interview with a private soccer coach out in Morris County, New Jersey. He ran his Instagram ads for about 8 weeks, and today we're going to have him share all his results. As always, make sure to watch until the end because I'll have Chris here show you all the numbers, show you all the behind the scenes, and go through the journey of how he broke his first record month. So Chris, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and break down exactly how many new clients you've been able to sign in those first 8 weeks?
My name is Chris Savigal. I'm a private soccer trainer in Morris County. Um, I've been coaching privately and around the area for a few years. I want to say about 5 years, and then I really started taking my coaching like super seriously about a year and a half ago. The results speak for themselves in terms of the service. Obviously, we'll get all into that. The biggest thing I've noticed in doing everything that I'm doing now is if you don't put yourself out there, you're not going to make any money.
100%.
It's that simple.
100%. How many clients did you sign in those first 8 weeks of working together?
I want to say about 40,
40
about 40.
clients.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. How much were you making before you started working with us? Like around?
It kind of varied month to month, I think the winter is probably when you get the most amount of kids, um, specifically where I'm from, because I have access to indoor facilities.
Hmm.
Um, but then, the summer comes around, people are going away on vacation, spring and fall, that's when the kids are busy with their seasons. So it
Yep.
really slowed down, but I want to say anywhere between 4 and 6K was like where I would top out. And even
Right.
then, it might have been a little bit less, a little bit more. But I want to say like 3.5 to 6K
Yep.
top was where I was at before.
Makes sense. And what did you just hit recently?
I hit $24,325.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Jeez. Dude, first and foremost, beautiful because of the fact that you hit 20, you crossed 20, but also you did in such a short time frame. I guess talk to the viewers in terms of like why were you able to like move so quickly? Because our average client signs 20 clients every single month. They add an extra 4 to 5K in the first 30 days. But in the first 10 weeks, I'm sorry, 8 weeks of working together, you just hit 20.
Yeah. Um, I want to say the biggest thing um, for me was getting the work done.
Hmm.
Obviously, like when I first started, I think it was like such a slow start because one, like I'd just gotten off the call with you and I
Yep.
was still skeptical, right? Um, Price aside, it's just like the amount of time I had to put into, you
Hmm.
know, running my ads, posting on social media, posting on my stories, just creating a good base of things. I think, the hardest thing was starting. I know I had
Yep.
like, the first like week, I really genuinely did nothing. And then I texted you and I was like, Mo, this isn't working. But it's like, again, how's it going to work if I'm not really doing anything? You know what I mean?
Right.
Um, so just getting started was probably the hardest thing. But then after I did it, that's where, the results started to come along. Um,
Yep.
Converting leads was probably the hardest just
Mm.
because, I would get these leads, they'd reach out through my ad, but then I wouldn't know how to convert them. Um, so first and foremost, converting leads, giving them the wake love treatment in the first session, making sure that that first session is a crazy good session, and then just
Yep.
want them to, grab them and keep them. And then the other thing is just, attention to detail, attention to the client and what they need. And not always trying to upsell people.
Right.
Downselling, I think, is what really helped me the most because I think I would scare people. I would get on these calls with them, and immediately I'm throwing $1,000 at them, right?
Yep.
Uh, I think as soon as I just said, "Hey, why don't you come in for the first session, see how you like it, maybe give a discounted price on the session," um, that was really what got them through the door, and then collecting a little deposit just to ensure that they would come. So getting these people in the door, giving them a great experience, that's how I would lock them in. You know.
Yeah. Before working with us and before running the ads, can you describe how you were getting clients back then?
Honestly, it was just a bunch of word of mouth and then my access to the facilities that I was at.
Hmm.
But then again, I was signing one or two clients a month, whereas, now I'm signing anywhere from 15 to 20 clients a month on
Right.
average.
Yeah.
Um,
And these are
so
not just like, they come in, these are on packages or monthly memberships, right?
most of them It really depends, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you a little bit of the secret sauce, but um, before I was just trying to strictly sell these packages.
Yep.
And what I've noticed is like selling packages is great. It's phenomenal because you're locking down money. You just have to
Yep.
be a little bit smarter with the money now because you have these people locked in for a certain amount of time. So what's really helped me, other than selling packages, when I say downselling is, hey, if you commit to coming in a few times a week, I'll honor the package price and you could just pay me weekly.
Right.
I'm still seeing the money every week and
Mm-hmm.
people are still getting, package price and it fits people's budget a little bit more as well. Because
Yep.
obviously, if I'm charging $1,000 here, $500 there, people are going to think twice about it.
Yeah.
Especially if they have,
100%.
more kids, they have other things going on. People have lives,
Right.
so I think just catering to my clients and their specific needs financially was also what really helped because I'm
Yep.
making the same amount of money. I might just split it up a little bit more, or I might collect it every week instead of collecting it, once and then not collecting it again for another 5 or 6 weeks.
Yep.
But just that is what really helped, scale. Because again,
How
that
many?
first month trying to sell packages was great. I was selling the packages, but I had a feeling like if I sell them package price, but they're coming into me more often and they can pay me as they go, then I can really collect money, and I can really fill my schedule.
Yeah. 100%. How many sessions are you doing per day, roughly?
I want to say I'm averaging minimum 2 to 3 sessions a day, like during the week. But
Mm-hmm.
then when it comes to weekends, working from 8:30 in the morning till 5:30 p.m. at night with no breaks in
Yep.
between. Um,
And you're running groups and a combination of one-on-ones, right?
yeah, so I'm doing a little bit of everything. I'm doing group sessions, partner sessions, one-on-one sessions, gym sessions, weight sessions, mobility sessions, recovery sessions. Just giving that variety to
Yep.
people because what really helped as well. Um, because I know, people have specific needs.
Mm-hmm.
You can only offer a private session or group session. You're really limiting yourself to a certain demographic.
Right.
And then, just opening up to these other things is also what kind of helped a lot too.
Yep. To shift gears for a second, I know you probably saw one of our ads, I guess, but what really ultimately made you want to trust us to work together in the first place?
My friend Remy, um, phenomenal coach. He's been coaching actually a little bit not as long as me, but he's
Yep.
older than me. He was coaching at a few different clubs before he wanted to go out on his own. And, as anybody who's just starting out, you're going to struggle. You're not going to make the same money. You're not going to make consistent money, right? So, as soon as he told me, like he hopped on with you and said that he got these results, and then I saw the video of him going from 1K a month to like 8K a month in his
Yep.
first month, then I was like, okay, Remy, maybe I'll give it a try.
Yeah.
So that's when I got on the call with you, and again, spending money is an investment. You're investing in yourself, you're investing in your brand. But at the same time, when you're not making, over a certain threshold of money, you're going to think about it twice before
Right.
spending it. You know what I mean? So, really taking the leap of faith and knowing that, if I lose this money,
Yep.
um, I can make it back eventually, especially because of my age. I'm young. That's what really made me want to do it. Also, the safety net. If you told me like if you don't make your money back by this date, you'll get your money back. If
Yep.
you can't if you can't pay for these ads, I'll pay for them until you start making your money. Um,
Yep.
well, that kind of really just lifted that weight off my shoulders and made me want to say, okay, there's nothing I can really lose here.
Yeah. And the
Um,
reason I was so confident on our call together was like, this guy has been coaching for 5 years. He's a good coach. He has consistency. He just needs more clients to, get on his calendar. I was like, we can do this 100%, or we'll just give you all your money back, no questions asked. So
mhm.
for you specifically, was it more so the proof of seeing like Remy, like one of our clients, get the result, or was it more so like the call that you had with us on the first time?
I want to say it's a mix of both. I
Yep.
think, obviously, you being someone who was new to me, the trust wasn't really there immediately.
Yeah.
But Remy being someone that I've known my whole life, pretty much, and him saying that it works, I don't think, one of my close friends is going to steer me the wrong way, you know?
Right.
S- And then him just hyping you up and saying, hyping you and your brand up kind of really just, again, it lifted that weight off my shoulders,
Yeah,
had me feel a little bit confident in knowing what I was getting into, you know.
100%. For the private sports coaches who face resistance when it comes to a running ads or, because they don't know how to do it, or maybe they are like stuck using like the old school way of doing things, why do you think it's important for them to get on social media and start running those ads?
Um, you know what, Well, I think now that I am in the space where I'm doing a lot more on social media, I'm incorporating AI into my business. I think seeing it and seeing how efficient it is, really just blows it out of the water in terms of, old school people just posting a post on Facebook instead of running an ad on Facebook,
Right.
or people just putting flyers out and a bunch of word of mouth because it's slower.
Hmm.
One, obviously, it's not going to cost you as much, but it's slower and it's not as efficient as an ad where I can see all the data. I can see people reaching out to me consistently. And then, just updating with the times. Obviously, nowadays, everybody's on social media, everybody's using AI. So if I didn't adjust and didn't have my brand adjust, then I was just going to get left behind with everybody else who's not using it right
Yeah.
now.
Where do you think you'd be if you decided, hey, I saw Remy's success, but I don't really, see this whole social media thing working out? What do you think you'd be if you were to just continue with the current game plan that you were on back then?
Definitely not at 20K. I think I'd probably be somewhere around the same as where I was at before, and
Hmm.
I wouldn't progress. I wouldn't be elevating myself, and it's not just the money, it's the brand, your name, your reputation, you know. Obviously, a big thing that I talk about is, if you do everything right and you do things the right way, then things are going to be reciprocated to you, you
Yep.
know. And it's just a matter of just putting the time and putting the effort in, investing in yourself, which was the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Really just skyrocketed everything, not just my brand, my confidence, everything.
100%. I guess zooming into that, after working with us, what did you learn about marketing as a whole when it comes to growing the private training business?
Marketing is everything. Like you could be the best coach in the world, but if you don't put yourself out there, then it doesn't matter because you're not going to get the same results as someone who might not be as good as you, but they're marketing themselves well.
Yeah, it's not the best coach, it's the best well-known coach who gets the most business at the end of the day. I
Yeah.
guess in terms of sales side, what did you learn when it comes to like collecting deposits, when it comes to making sure they actually show up to the sessions and all the sequences that we put you through?
I think collecting deposits, especially, is like crazy because even though it's a tiny fraction of what your session actually costs, it
Yep.
entices people to actually come and not to lose that deposit.
Right.
Um, and then in terms of like selling packages, selling everything else, again, you have to adjust to what a client needs, right? Um, you don't want to think about money. You want to think about the relationship that you build with the client.
Hmm.
And I think that's what's helped me the most because yeah, the money's great, but money comes and goes. But this
Right.
relationship that I'm forming with this kid and their family is going to last who knows how long, right? So as long as I take care of them and I take care of all their needs, I know that they're going to take care of me in the end when it comes to money, when it comes to bringing me clients, when it comes to, being there when I
Right.
need. So just giving and
So well
taking.
said.
Yeah.
So well said. I guess in summary, having been on the other side, what would you tell someone who's still on the fence about working with us? Let's say they're watching this video right now, they've already watched two previous to this one, and they're like, hey, I'm not really sure if this is still the right thing for me.
I would say don't think so much about the money. Think about the results. Think about the possibilities. Because again, if you're a young coach and you're, in your late teens, your 20s, maybe you're close to 30, how much time do you have left of making peak money, right? Um, I've I've read that, a male, their peak years for earning are between the ages of 21 and like 45. Those are your peak earning years. So
Yep.
if you can't make your goal of money, if you can't take that risk in those years, then the years that you have, the outlier years, you're not going to make that money because by then you're gonna maybe have a family, you're gonna have other things. That dream is gonna die because you're not investing in that dream. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
And
I
to add on
think,
to your point, I think it's genuinely very important that if you are in a position to take a risk, the best time to gamble on yourself would be now because the later you wait, the longer you wait, you're gonna have more responsibilities and it's harder to make a gamble when you have, a family counting on you.
yeah, I mean, not even that. I mean, you're paying for a service and you're paying for someone that has already gone through it. They already took the risk. They already made the mistakes. They're eliminating mistakes for you. That's why you're paying for that. You're paying for that service to eliminate those mistakes. You're not making mistakes. You're just following an algorithm that's proven that
Yeah.
works, you know? So I think that's probably the biggest thing too. You're eliminating all these mistakes that might cost you even more. Paying for a marketing agency that might cost you more. Um, Trying to do things through trial and error that are going to cost you more. You know what I mean? When you can just eliminate it by paying for a service that's already proven, by paying someone who knows what they're doing already. Um, instead of paying, just an example, instead of paying $5,000, $10,000 for a service that you know is proven, you're going to end up paying 20, 30, $50,000 because you're going through trial and error. And then when you finally get it right, it's not going to matter, because
Because
everybody,
time passes by.
yeah,
Yeah. And the cool thing is, I had a mentor once tell me, it's like, what is your actual goal? I gave my goal and he was like, okay, cool. How far are you from your girl currently? I'm like, okay, I'm like 80% of the way. Well, I'm 80% away. And he goes, the fact that you don't have the right skills is costing you like the opportunity of making that much money. So for example, like if your goal is to make, $1 million a year and you're only making 200, the fact that you don't have the right skills is costing you 800K per year to not know how to get to a million.
yeah,
So for you, it's really cool that you had the right mindset of like, okay, the best time to invest in myself would be now because the longer I wait, the less opportunity I'll have. Or worse, the opportunity window will get closed out because other people will start using what the actual, service is essentially. I guess
um,
for you, what's the long-term vision look like now that you're signing clients and that things are, cranking slowly?
I want to open up my own facility eventually.
Hmm.
Um, and like I said, and I say it, and I put it in my marketing, I want to be the coach that I never had, right? I want to be that coach that people look to, not just to get better, but to build a real connection with, build a real relationship with. I want to be that for, the kids in the area. I want to be that for, you know, the guys who are maybe in college, the guys who are about to play pro. Even though, I didn't reach that pro goal, if I
Yeah.
can help someone do it, then that's fulfillment enough for me,
100%. I'm sure you have a bunch of clients who are, on that pathway, whether it's signing for a pro academy, getting to that Division One college, and you're seeing them, step into those roles as a result of, your service essentially.
Yeah, you know, I'm not gonna lie to you. I really do focus a lot more on the younger kids, but the ones that are older and that are in that atmosphere,
Yeah,
talk to almost every day, and not through their parents. I talk to them every day. They're reaching out to me, and that to me, that to me is worth more than whatever money I'm making.
yeah.
Those
So
real genuine relationships.
so well said. And I like what you said earlier in the conversation as well. You're like, the the happier I keep my clients, the longer they'll stay with me. And it's so true because the average span of a soccer player is anywhere from like the age of 8 all the way to like 18. So if you can be the one coach that they need for the rest of the time, then they're gonna stick with you no matter what, as long as the service actually delivers a result, essentially.
Mhm.
Dude, I'm gonna attach your Instagram below for anyone who has any questions for you. I just want to commend you on the fact that you came in guns blazing. You actually beat Remy's record in a shorter time than he did. And I just want to say that, genuinely just absolute monster when it comes to executing and also being able to do the work without seeing the result. Because the first few weeks have been a bit rough because you're like, I'm not really sure this is gonna work for me. But then you stuck through it, and as a result of that, you're here now. Dude, any final thoughts for the viewers who might be watching this video before we jump off?
The only thing I would say to anybody really questioning this decision, without bias, would be analyze everything, right? I was very skeptical,
Yep.
and I was very tied on the thought of, if I spend this money now, what might happen. Um, but like if you're in the position where you think you can do it, I would say do it because the proof is in the pudding, and
Yep.
And I think the guidance that you've given me specifically, I want to talk for me. I don't want to talk for anybody else. It's just been great. I have no complaints. And the times that I have had complaints or, have had these moments where it's like an up and down,
Yep.
you've been very good at being in my corner and walking me through it and helping me through it. So I couldn't recommend anybody else to do it.
If you are a sports coach and you're watching this video and you want our help to grow the business, click that first link below to book a call with our team to see how we can help you do the same thing. And then once again, Chris, thank you for being here.